Thank you, Mr. President. The UN is charged with preparing accurate and credible reports to aid in the promotion of human rights as called for in the Vienna Declaration. The UN, however, is not living up to these standards. Last week, a Beirut-based UN agency issued another preposterous report defaming Israel. The authors are noted anti-Israel demagogues, and the claims were false and sourced from several NGOs linked to Palestinian terror groups and the anti-Semitic BDS movement. The Secretary General widely condemned the report and demanded its removal from the UN website. Unfortunately, this report is not an aberration. The problems of that ECOWAS report mar almost every report authored by UN bodies regarding Israel, included those presented today by Rapporteur Link. Each year, the UN issues dozens of reports, more than on any other country, purporting to document human rights violations committed by Israel. These reports are full of gross distortions of fact and law, contradictions, unverified claims, and repetition of propaganda originating with groups linked to the PFLP terrorist organization. Most glaringly, these reports erase the context of Palestinian incitement and terrorism. You will not read the names of Israeli victims of Palestinian terrorism, such as Daphne Meir, stabbed to death by a Palestinian in front of her children. You will not learn about Fatah anti-Semitism, systematic incitement to violence, and its blatant attempts to falsify history. You would not be informed that Hamas, the terror group that runs Gaza, advocates for the genocide of the Jewish people. And you would not be unaware that Palestinian authorities regularly recruit and deploy child soldiers. An institution interested in providing accurate and credible reports would do its utmost to implement urgently needed standards and reforms to its reporting process. We hope the Secretary General will expand his inquiry to examine the flawed reporting processes across all the UN frameworks. Thank you. Thank you. One of the outcomes of the 2001 Durban Conference was the revival of the bigoted UN General Assembly Resolution 3379 and the formation of the anti-Semitic BDS campaign. As part of this process, under Resolution 3136, OHCHR is currently preparing a discriminatory blacklist in conjunction with these BDS activists, and in violation of the very international law it purports to uphold. It is aimed at defaming and economically destroying companies doing business with Israel with the ultimate goal of isolating, demonizing, and harming the Jewish state. The UNHRC's discriminatory blacklist operates from the premise that business in occupied territory is barred by international law. There is no such prohibition, and almost every country in this room engages in or facilitates business activities in settlements and in situations of occupation throughout the globe. Instead, this blacklist against Israel is meant as a backdoor means to impose sanctions. Under the UN Charter, however, the power to levy sanctions is solely vested within the UN Security Council. It also promotes the violation of the Oslo Accords, mutually agreed to by the PLO and Israel and guaranteed by the UN, targeting companies that are involved in carrying out security obligations mandated under these agreements. The blacklist violates due process. It is created by anonymous bureaucrats utilizing vague and secret criteria. There is no oversight, no notice, and no right to challenge, and no access to compensation or other remedies for what could be millions of dollars in economic and reputational harm caused by UN malice or negligence.